We are shooting a scene within a scene. The people we're shooting are shooting a branded video. Amy, who is Joy Osmonsky's character, who is also in the other two Surrogate Valentine movies, she has become a YouTube director. So she does branded content. And in this scene, she is trying to make this frozen lasagna look sexy. So her assistant, who's played by Patrick Pino, who's also in the other movies, will be blowing bubbles. He'll be throwing flowers. She's going to try to make it look good. And the whole time I'm just there listening to Go Nakamura's music, being a loser. And action.
Just blow. From the lungs. Why am I looking? Okay. Arcing, like movement, like this move. These are false, like you.
I'm very happy with that.
Mustache. Bring my phone out when you're done.
I've been training for about a half hour now, and I think I can get like 3 bubbles at a time.
Today we're shooting at Vanishing Angle, and as you can see, they don't want us to smoke out here. Guess what we're gonna go do?
So, the scene I'm about to shoot, get to smoke. I don't smoke. I'm a terrible fake smoker, so we'll see. I think I'm just literally gonna hold it. Yeah. It's kind of funny. It works with the character that it's one of the other things that she fakes. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's part of the auteur. Like she's just like, I should probably smoke. Like a locomotive. But yeah, and then Lynn and I get to have this reconnection. I think our characters haven't seen each other for a bit in the way that artistic lives tend to go this way. But we kind of click right back in, and she seems to be at a bit of a crossroads. I think I sense, and I think I'm the little engine that kicks it forward a bit.
What was it like coming back to this character 8 years later?
It was simple. I mean, Lynn wrote her so in line with what had already been established that she's not that much different from me, to be quite honest. I mean, maybe the blatant rage, well, but yeah, it was easy and fun. It's obvious. Candy for breakfast, green juice for lunch, cigarette for dinner.
What did you think when Lynn first called you and said she wanted to make the final movie in the trilogy?
Oh, I thought she was joking. She said it so casually. You know, like, hey, are you making the third one? Or how's the third one coming? I was like, not doing it. And she's like, mind if I do it? I was like, sure. And I meant it, but I wasn't, you know, I didn't know how serious she was about it. And then a week and a half later, she sends me a script. And I was like, whoa, so this is happening.
How much input did you have on the script?
I gave her notes and suggestions and stuff along the way, and she worked on it for another 6 months or so after that. But you know, it's her script, and it was more just kind of, what if you try this, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Why were you not doing the third one?
I just kind of moved on to other things, and it felt like me and Go are such slackers that it felt like doing a trilogy that was only 2 movies somehow kind of worked for both of us. There's also just making this kind of movie. It's a big, long process, and you know, the first 2 we made for no money. This one we're making for no money, and I think I just kind of burned out for a little while, and so but this time, since all I'm doing is just helping Lynn make her movie, it's a little easier.
Less pressure?
Yeah.
You have the original DP back too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Me and Go and Lynn and Bill Otto, the DP, and a lot of people that helped out on the first 2 are back this time. So everybody gets in the same room, and it's like no time has passed.
How did you meet Go? What was the inspiration for the first 2 of the trilogy?
I just saw him perform live, and then I met him at a film festival, and I became a fan of his music. So I just started out just really following him as a musician, and then when I saw him perform live, there was just something about him that I thought, like, hey, I think I could build a little movie around this guy. It might be interesting. But yeah, now I'm excited to see that Lynn is kind of bringing a different perspective to the characters and doing something different with what we started in the first 2.
Oh,
like just your tight.
fuck with it
Like
more.
yeah, fuck with it.
And action.
It's like the female eye, like all the women in the first two movies, like
Yeah.
sort of their perspective more.
Yeah, I remember the first screening of Surrogate Valentine in New York. I walked out and I ran into a friend, and she was like, "Hey, nice movie, man, good job. You really need to work on your female characters." And then she just walked off. And that was probably one of the best things that ever happened to me, you know. But I think the best way to work on your female characters is to just have a female filmmaker make the movie. And so I'm excited to see what Lynn comes up with.
I've been rehearsing for this my entire life. Action. It's really hard for people to take me seriously, I feel like, when you're wearing velour overalls, but I feel a director should look cute. So today we were shooting in a music studio, which I thought was really important just because Yiming is a musician and to show her in her element is an important thing. I was a music and women's studies double major in college, and I've spent the last 20 years doing absolutely nothing with that degree. But today, it all comes together. Feminism, music. I'm getting what I put all of that, or what my parents put all of that money into. So thanks, Mom and Dad. Really happy with how the scene turned out. Can't wait for all of you to see it too.
Roll camera, kick. Quiet, please.
Action. Okay, cut.
Talk about the stylistic decisions that you made with the DP.
Well, black and white was what the first two movies were for budget reasons, just because you could move faster and it was easier to light. And originally when we were thinking about doing this movie, it came up, you know, should it be in color? Because this is a completely different movie and it is the feminine perspective. It wouldn't be that weird if it was in color. But ultimately we decided to go black and white just because we wanted to be able to move quickly for the same budget reasons, but also I think that it all comes together really well, and there's a very fancy camera that only shoots in black and white that Bill Otto, our DP, can tell you more about. Like, you couldn't say no to this camera, and I think when you see the footage, you're going to see that with each film, the cinematography gets elevated, and this one just, I'm like speechless at how gorgeous these shots are. So now that I see it in black and white, I feel like it couldn't be anything else.
Did y'all ever collaborate or date in real life?
No.
No, we played a show together. We were talking
Yeah.
about this earlier. What, 8 years ago?
Yeah, something like that at Cafe du Nord before they
Yeah.
went out of business.
But I remember playing Everly Brothers too. Dreams.
Dream, yeah.
Dream. Yeah. But yeah, we had such a good time that when we were writing the second movie, Daylight Savings, I immediately thought of Ye Ming. I was like, she has to be in this movie, this character. So yeah.
Is that how it happened?
Yeah, yeah. You know,
So it's because of that show?
I think so. Yeah.
It was because
And her
of
music's great. So of course, yeah.
Your music's great too.
So you both had a lot of music featured in the second movie and also this one. How has your music changed since the last movie?
I got more mature, I think. And after Daylight Savings, Dream Date ended, and that's when I started writing more songs for my solo project, and at that time I wanted to write more mature songs instead of party songs. Is that a good answer? I don't know.
That's a good answer. For myself, I don't know, I've always been sort of like a solo singer-songwriter. I'm still a solo singer-songwriter. I'll tell you this, like, it's always as if I've never written a song before. Every time I sit down to write, I'm like, what do I do? I have no idea. I'm just trying to like get past that point, and then once I feel like I can get, you know, that first verse or something, then it sort of breaks the dam, and then it's easier. So, but yeah, it's not really getting any easier.
Are you surprised by the turns that your characters took in Lynn's script?
Lynn did such a beautiful job of kind of extending, you know, these stories, and yeah, it's like a perfectly natural progression, I think, of all our characters. Yay, Lynn!
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just grateful
Seriously,
to her.
the
I paid
script.
them to say that.
No.
The script is truly very
No,
good.
it was great. Yeah.
It's really well written, I think.
It's really great.
Did you have an idea of who you thought you would end up with?
No.
Did you think?
I had no idea.
You had no idea.
But you told me once, like years ago, that you were like, I have a very clear idea of how it should end.
Oh, that's number 4. No, I'm just kidding. No, that was a different.
We can talk about that another
Yeah,
time.
we
I'm
can talk
very curious. I gotta get some beers in him and find out how he thought it would end.
Maybe, yeah.
I feel like, for the most part, if you've seen the first 2 movies, you will definitely be surprised as to where these people have ended up. Some people have changed a lot, and then some people haven't. And I think it'll satisfy the audience that was curious about where these people ended up. I think you'll be satisfied with what ended up happening. So today we have a lot of extras because we are shooting a funeral scene, and it's going to be a little emotional because my father's photo is being used as Erica's dad, and my father passed away in 2012, and so this is like pretty close to what his funeral looked like. So I'm having like a fake funeral. That's reminding me of my father, and it's our first day shooting the second part of the movie, and it's, I don't know, a lot of feelings. I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna cry today.
Can you tell me about the first time you heard about Len wanting to make the 3rd movie of the trilogy?
I think I witnessed the moment of she came up with the idea. We were at the cafe with Dave Boyle, and she was saying like, "Oh, let's make a sequel," and Dave was like, "Oh, it's yours. You can do it." And she said, "Oh, really?" And she's like, "Okay, so if I write it, can you produce it?" And I was just sitting there, and she's like, "Will you be in it?" And I'm like, "Oh, whatever. If you need me, I'm there." So.
When you wrote this into the story, were you thinking about your father?
I mean, when I wrote the whole part about Erica's father dying, a lot of it was pulled from my own life. Like, there's a whole scene in the movie that takes place in a clothing store where Erica's buying a dress to wear to her dad's funeral, and basically breaks down and shares way too much with the salesperson, and that happened to me. You know, a lot of this movie wouldn't have happened without my dad just not only inspiring it in his life, but also in his death, you know? It's a bittersweet thing for me because he was my biggest champion. And I kind of feel like I might not have written this movie had it not been for his death.
So tell me about the song that you wrote for the funeral scene.
So this is a song called Daylight Savings, and I wrote it maybe 15 years ago, 18 years ago. Wow. Yeah, it was written for my uncle who had passed away, and it was really the first song that I ever wrote that I was kind of happy with. So it kind of was the start of my songwriting career.
And did you just have a baby?
Yes, 4 months ago. Yeah, that's why I was pumping my breast milk in between the shoot.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all good. It's you know, I've played mom, but it just feels very different when you play mom when you're a real mom. It's just it's good.
Yeah. How has your character changed in the 5 years or so since?
I think she's just at this point she's very, very tired, and she, you know, was just I think back then she was more full of hopes, and she thought a lot of bright future was waiting for her, and now she's just so tired, and her father just passed away, and that tiredness I know right now. I so know.
Just can't believe that we won't see him anymore. Gone forever to the void